portfolio as well as a challenging individual property. And it's definitely been an interesting ride.
Okay.
So,
Yep. Now you told me you've been in a mobile home park manager for 9 years. Is that correct?
yeah, about 9 years. It was over 3 with one, and then yeah, over 4.5 with the other. So it worked out to about 9.
9 years. Okay. So it's a long time. You definitely kind of seen it come and go, if you will. You definitely have your experience there with multiple parks.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Well, definitely. And you know, I work with 15 mobile home parks. Every manager is different, but every manager seems to be after the same thing, which is obviously taking care of the park. That's what they're there for. And most of them live at the park.
Mhm.
So, you know, I love working with mobile home park managers. Absolutely. But, um, you know, pleasure to having you here. Absolutely. You know, this is, I cannot tell you how many people have asked me if I could interview a park manager. You know, that's huge. And I hold a lot of calls. I coach a lot of students. And the one question that comes is, will you go talk to the park manager with me? So I hope to answer a lot of questions here from somebody's experience as you. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, why are most mobile home park managers hesitant to work with investors? Why would you say?
Um, well, I think it depends on the situation with what the intention of the investor is. So if you are an investor that is coming in to buy a home, flip the home, and move along. Now this, and I work in Washington State, so other states may have different um, parameters for certain things, but and I can only speak for my state. So if you're coming in as an investor and you are going to be gathering up homes that are maybe vacant or purchasing from people that want to leave for whatever reason, they may be hesitant to work with you because first and foremost, I'd say like up here, the park has first right of refusal on a house to purchase. And so if the not the manager, but the manager is in charge of trying to gather that house up to turn it over for the park to get that revenue. So it sometimes they're reluctant because the investors may or may not keep that home in the park because the investor may not completely follow what the park rules are for making sure that home is clean and nice, because that investor may not necessarily heed the requirements of the park when they find somebody to place in that home if it's a situation where they're subletting. Um, and so those are the main reasons that park managers are hesitant to work with investors.
Mhm. You kind of mute in there for a second. Barbara, you there?
I'm here. I don't know. Can you hear me okay? My thing
Yeah,
just said my internet went unstable.
yeah, that's what it was. It just went quiet for a second, but yes, go ahead.
Okay. What was the last part you heard?
Yeah, investors working basically. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So the concern is that the investor will either remove the park or move the home out, will not be conscious.
Barbara, you there?
So those are the main issues that the managers have usually with investors.
Okay. You're still coming and going a little bit. Hopefully,
Mm,
the internet holds out on this one here, but yeah, and you know, one thing that I tell a lot of my students is, you know, when you're approaching a mobile home manager and even a mobile home owner, is understand before you, there could have already been a mobile home investor that came by there, didn't do what he or she said they would do. So they kind
mhm.
of already burnt that bridge. So you coming in new and immediately trying to preach your speech, regardless of what it may be, they may not be so keen to, okay, let's let another investor come here. It's not so friendly no more. It's very, trying to put it in a good way. It's not looked on very well because somebody already burnt those bridges for you. Now
Mm,
I've worked with some parks like that, and I feel like I've made up for that because I came in and they were, nah, we've already had investors coming here. They no.
mhm.
So why should we trust you? That's the question that
Exactly.
I get. It,
Yeah.
it,
It's
but once they allow me in, I always feel like I have that one. I need to prove myself, and once I do, with a couple units or so, they see, okay, this guy's a little different. He's a little
mhm,
serious, and he's willing to go through with it.
mhm,
So that's one thing that I do, tell my investors, my students is that, many times you are coming into a park that they've already dealt with somebody like you per se. So, don't take it so strongly on they're going to tell you no. They have
mhm,
every right to. If I was a park manager, somebody already burnt me. Why? No, not happening.
mhm.
So by all means, okay. Next question on that is, do you run into a lot of mobile home investors being a
It
park
it's
manager?
it's hit or miss. So usually there's people that there's different stages of the game. So there's people that'll want to just buy the park versus the individual home. So we get more people that want to buy the parks rather than individual homes within the parks. But every once in a while, yeah, we'll get investors and they'll it's about every 6 to 12 months, but that's usually just one or two. It's not busy up here because everything's so expensive.
Mm,
So I'm
okay.
sure other places it's different.
And different counties, cities, states, of course, yes,
Hmm.
the obviously like anything else, any real estate, if you will, even though this is private property, it would
Hmm.
obviously bounce back and forth. So that's understandable, but okay, okay, good to know. Absolutely. Um, Now you say you're in Washington, right?
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so different market, definitely. I'm in Atlanta area, so my market will be very different from you. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, in your opinion, has investors you dealt with added a plus or taken away from that you dealt with?
It's been half and half because we have one investor that um, at the last park was very um, he was also being a lender, and he was repeatedly reselling his homes because he would choose people that couldn't pay the bill. So
Oh
he would
wow.
resell and resell and resell and resell. It was his business. So he was doing it on purpose, subprime on purpose. He was not, we couldn't get him out because he had so many houses. It was a real hassle. And so that was always something to chase. But at the other properties, it was different because if they were flipping a house to resell it, no biggie because we have to run them through our own stuff. So um, it, it's just kind of,
Okay. And understandable. And again, that's the unfortunate. Many investors. I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but many investors, I don't think they always have the best intentions towards the buyer. Me personally, I want everybody to fulfill their agreement.
hmm,
Bottom line, if
yeah.
I get the house back, that's a bummer to me. I have to rehab it and resell it, and that's fine. That's part of the
Hmm.
business. But I don't count for that. That's not something that I'm hoping to sell it because the down payment, I get that money and I get to
Hmm.
do it over and over. So that's unfortunate. So, and again,
Yeah.
something like that could very well make you not so keen to want to have other investors coming towards you. So
Hmm.
absolutely. So something to notate. Okay. What would be one way an investor can approach a mobile home manager in order to convince him or her to allow investors to work with them in the park?
um have references if you aren't new at it, to be like, if you want to see other places that I have fixed and flipped, please go check out this unit at this property. It just was done like whatever, how recently, because you know how when people new move in they repaint everything. So you want to make sure that like whatever you send over as like a reference check, and also with that manager's name
Barbara, I think you are cutting out just a little bit again there. It's kind of coming in and going.
Again, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes, ma'am.
It just disappeared and it gave me the little, your internet is unstable. Um, so, so I would say references are good. If you have any, if you have a couple pictures of before and afters of things. If you don't have any written references, a little portfolio. And up here, we don't see the interior of the homes because we don't do rentals
Okay.
inside parks, but exterior pictures. This is the hot mess it was before, and now here, how beautiful it looks. You know what I mean? Because that's what happened. Um, so having before and after pictures is helpful. Making sure that all your business license stuff is legitly proper is important. Um, so when that gets looked up, because they're going to research you
Oh,
unless
sure.
they're just totally cool with somebody walking in and doing this. They're going to research you. So make sure you got a real business license that's got all the information in the right departments, and that they can look you up and stuff. And if you have a website, that they have that information. Just make sure that you come in there and you're confident and you say, hey, you know what, I've been afforded the opportunity to buy this home from the seller that's in house number whatever. Are you already aware that they're moving? That's a good place to start. And then let them know that you're a contractor and that you rehab homes or whatever. And then you ask them what they allow in that park. You got to ask them. Don't come in there like you're the expert, because you're not. They know the park better than you do as far as parameters for repair, for as far as exterior stuff goes. They're going to be the one that is going to be either going to be helpful or hinder you from moving that house out of the park. Because I know managers that will block it. They will they will pay for a truck, or the owners of the park will have them pay for like a big rig truck to
Mhm.
park in front of those homes before they get moved out that day. It's pretty rude, but it happens. So, um, because they don't want the homes to leave the park unless they're just an absolute train wreck house. They don't want them gone. So, because then they lose revenue on that land. So go in there with an open mind. Go in there being honest and transparent, and let them
Yes.
know what your intentions are, and be like, I'm intending to do this. What do you allow? And just kind of go from there, because the more open and honest you are with that manager on that property, the more they're going to trust you to allow you to do what you want to do. Now, if you go in and you say, I'm going to paint everything to the colors of the park, and then you go in and you paint everything something obviously different, there's going to be a serious issue, because you just flat out lied. Because I personally have had that too, where they're like, oh yeah, we're going to follow all the park rules, blah, blah, blah. And then next thing I know, I've got all of these teal houses in my house. And I personally love teal, but at that particular park, it was not a color that was okay. So, and it's not my choice. I'm just the messenger. So it was like all of these things, so just make sure that when you hit Sherwin-Williams' counter, that you are getting the colors you say you're going to get.
Okay, understood. Yes. And no, great points. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. And that's one thing that, I strongly say is, it's not so much about being transparent, because you need to be. Do not try to work around managers. It's not going to pay off. Never does. They will find out. And just like they may want you there, they will get you out of there. So
And
it's not a way to go. But if you say you're going to do something, do it by all means, because this is your credibility quotations. This is how you prove yourself to this park manager, park owner, etc., this community park, and let them know that, okay, I'm here, I'm serious, and I'll say I will do this, that, and those, and whatever, and I'm going to abide by it. And the more you do that, the more the park manager and even the park owner will want you there. Many parks that I've come into, especially those that didn't want anything to do with me. That was they just no, turn around, go. These are the same park managers that are now calling me, hey, lot 42B is selling. You think you're interested? Yeah, absolutely, I'm interested. And this is something that you have to grow. Of course, is a relationship, but again, transparency, absolutely. So great point on that. Yes, ma'am. Okay. From your experience in mobile homes and mobile home parks, do you think this is a growing business or otherwise?
As far as housing, as far as the housing market,
Sure.
yeah, I do. I mean, everybody needs to live somewhere, and it's more affordable than a stick-built house. It's got the implied safety and security of it being a planned community usually, unless it's just, not. And then, it's it's a growing market for sure, because people are still making the same money and they still need to get out of that apartment that's too small now that they got 4 kids. So it's a good, definitely a good market. I think it's a little rougher for people that are trying to build new mobile home communities, because there's so many, and there's a lot of states that have like blocks on being able to put up a new one. But if you're flipping houses or doing what you do, then yeah, for sure, huge market.
Absolutely. From big investors, I hear this all the time, and I tell all my students, mobile homes is going nowhere. It is growing. It is a niche that is definitely
Hmm.
here to stay. It exists in every state other than Hawaii.
Hmm.
Get into it. Absolutely. So that okay, great, great, and good to hear. So, Barbara, most of these questions that I've asked you are all from investors that are coming into the game, if you will, trying to get started, and they've asked me this. So I figured I will put them on paper and I will ask a mobile home park manager like yourself. So thank you for answering all the above. Before we move on to the next one, we have a few students. I can't tell who's all on here, but anybody on here that's got a question for Ms. Barbara, please unmute yourself and go ahead. Okay. Well, like I said, this is a recording. It will go on to all of our social media sites. A lot more people will view us, especially on LinkedIn. We have a lot of park owners, a lot of park managers on there that see our channel. Nicole, you didn't have a question, did you?
Yes, I didn't want to cut you off.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, please do.
My question is, I'm working with a park manager. I'm excited. I just bought my first home 2 weeks ago. He told me he had 4 empty lots. He's ready to work with me. And our communication was great at the beginning, but they they just bought this park 20 days ago. I can tell he doesn't know what he's doing, if I'm being
Hmm.
honest, because he's asking me questions. Do I have to get the dirt leveled, or do you pay for that? I said, no, you pay for that. So he used my mobile home mover and paid him $900 to level the ground out. So he's like, well, I paid for that. I'm not paying to connect the electric and the water. I'm
Yeah,
like,
no.
okay, no problem. I'll pay for that. I keep texting him and asking him for the address for the second lot so I can go ahead and get the building permit for the second lot. So as I'm doing that, a lady sees what I'm doing and she asked me, hey, you want to buy my house? She couldn't speak. She spoke Spanish. So
Hmm.
I go over and I talk to her. She's willing to give me a good offer on the house, and she's renovating it herself. So I
Hmm.
was like, I want to keep my relationship with the park manager. Let me tell him. So I said, hey, lot number 16 is selling her home. Would you be opposed if I purchase it? My plan is to keep it in the park. He said, no, we would be opposed to it. Could you tell me the lot number again and what she looks like? So I tell him, but I'm just so confused as to why it's a problem for me to purchase it
Mhm.
when they have 5 other empty mobile homes on the lot that he won't let me purchase, but he wants my mobile home maintenance guy to fix because they don't have a mobile home repair guy. So as much as I'm trying, he says he's working with me, I'm getting frustrated because I just found another park. It's 45 miles from my house, but she's willing to pay all my moving fees and give me 3 months free lot rent. I don't
Wow.
want to. I don't want to move and go to her park and not put the for the remaining 3 homes here. But I'm kind of torn.
Hmm.
Um, I heard up to the point where you said he's wanting to use your maintenance guy, and um,
Did you
so I
hear
missed
about the
the.
second park?
I heard that he wants to use. I heard that he won't let you buy. He doesn't want you to buy 16. He asked you who she was, and
Mm-hmm.
that he wants to use your maintenance guy. And then all the noise stopped.
I'm tempted to go to another park I found. It's 45 minutes from my house. She's paying all the moving fees. I said, well, is it up to how much? She said, it doesn't matter. I have 292 lots and 60 are empty. If you're going to help me, I'm going to help you. She's paying all my moving fees, and she's giving me two or 3 months free lot rent to get them rehab. So I don't want to mess my relationship up with this park that's 15 minutes from my house. But man, I'm tempted to just do this one house, get it going, and just go on to this other part that's 45 minutes away, because I feel like he's dragging his feet.
I got two prongs to that. First thing, take the 45-minuter. As long as you've got people that you can, as long as you got subcontractors that you can push the button and go and make sure that they're able to quickly move through all those all the units that need to be done there, so that you're not wasting that 2 to 3 months of free rent there.
Okay.
As far as the one where you already have one and he's wanting your maintenance guy and he's asking you questions and he's picking your brain, you know that thing that people do when they don't want to answer the question and then just stare at you? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Work that angle, Nicole. Work it.
Okay.
Because it's not your responsibility to explain to him his job. I'm so happy that he was able to get that park and you know, gold star there, but he needs somebody to walk him through all of those things. And one of those first steps is him walking himself down to the city and asking them questions about permitting and how things work for the order of operations for things for that, because that's his responsibility to know. Not your responsibility to tell him. And I don't mean that to be rude. That is not to be rude. That's for him to be either getting trained. If he is not the owner, but he's the manager, he needs to be getting trained by that owner or something, because up here again, it's, you know, it's different. The parks that I've worked at, when we've had a house that was brought in to be rehabbed or to fill a vacant lot, the person that owns the land gets all of the hookups ready.
Okay.
From the street to the house, pegged up out of the ground and tagged. So you can see where the water is, where the power is, all that stuff, right? And grade it off, pay for that 5/8 minus, make sure that crushed rock is down, make sure everything is right, make sure all the permits are handled, make sure the distances for the setbacks are all good. That is all on the park. And then it's verified by the person that's moving the home in that everything's cool. You shouldn't have to check to make sure that the water lines aren't blocked with rock. You shouldn't have to check to make sure that the sewer line's not blocked with rock. You know what I mean? Because sometimes kids will get to stuff and they still, you know, they play in the empty lots and they start putting stuff in places it doesn't go. So every once in a while, those things will be collapsed or broken. But those are all responsibilities of the park to have functional capped off utilities. And the rock to be down and all of that stuff graded off, especially if it's like a way crazy lot where like you could fall to like a hole that like just really shouldn't be there. That really should be them making sure that's flat, making sure it's right, making sure that they've cleared that with the engineers of the city. And then
Barbara, I think we're losing you there just a little bit.
She's completely frozen.
Barbara, are you there?
Can you hear me?
You broke up just a bit there.
Okay, so can you hear me again? Okay, so usually you just have to work it out on paper, and you want to make sure everything's written out on paper for what you're doing with that manager and what you're doing with that park, so that there's no gray area, because he's going to be like pestering you for your maintenance guy, and he's going to be pestering you for your painter and your roofer and your interior finish work guy, and then, you know, that guy that does the plumbing for you, you know, because he's lazy.
He asked me, they also have a warehouse on the side. He said, hey, if you get this rented out for me, I'll get you a finder's fee. And I said, okay.
Dude.
So I'm just like, gosh, he does not know what he's doing. Now, I don't want to get this incorrect. I just bought my first home. I just finished my mobile home class a month ago from watching Garcia's videos, from stalking him on YouTube, Facebook, and watching all the stuff that he does. I only know what the gurus have taught me. So when I'm going out there, he's asking me all these questions, and I'm like, he really does not know what he's doing. And I guess I can't fault him. He told me he's between North Carolina, Virginia, and South Carolina running mobile home parks.
Let me add a
That's
little
so
bit to that, Nicole. So,
sad.
that's actually a bit common. As shocker as they may come across, a lot of these mobile home park owners, if you will, a lot of these people kind of just inherit. So when that happens, they have
Mhm.
very little to no knowledge when it comes to actually being able to run a park, or how to manage it, or how to do anything. This is something that they had no idea whatsoever, and just somehow family above just kind of handed it down. And when it happened, hey, they have a mobile home park. We all wish we had a park, but we don't always get that. We have to work too. Some of these people just kind of end up with one hole. So when it comes to them knowing, they are blind. I run into a lot. I'm actually helping
Audio
a
dis-
student of mine is actually a mobile home park owner who just, the grandpa owned it. Somehow he ended up with it, and he's like, man, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what to do with it. I mean, all these homes look like they're beat up, and I've had to just break it down to him, and he's slowly but surely running it, and he's doing very good. He's doing very good now. I took him from this view that he saw it like as an inconvenience to this is an investment. You got handed down something that most of us wish we could get at one point. So and it's definitely, but it's taking time. But at the same token, to your to your example, there is, yes, there is mobile home park owners who know nothing when it comes to a park. You can well be his mentor, if you will, at one point. Yes, because they are just lost.
And I know you all are going to fall apart when I say this part. I'm going to say this last part. I just got back in town today. I went to Delaware for a week and a half to be with family.
Mhm.
And while I told him, hey, I'm going out of town in 3 days. Can we meet on Friday? So I said, I'm going out of town. I think I told him a week or two. Can we meet on Friday so I can sign the lease?
Mhm.
He responded back a day later and said, yeah, we can meet on Friday. Friday came. He didn't respond. So my property is out there. I haven't signed a lease. I didn't give him a deposit, nothing at all. It's been out there over a week. He hasn't even contacted me.
Oh wow.
And the lease that he emailed me is like in the lease, number 12 said, you will not allowed to sublease or assign the contract. I said, I can't sign this. I need you to change it because that's what I'm doing. And he responded via email, oh yeah, that's right. I'll edit it for you. But I know he hasn't changed anything. So I just don't want to be dirty in the sense of, hey, if this lady 45 miles is saying I'll pay for moving fees, should I just go ahead and move my home, this first one, and be completely done with this part? But my conscience, I really don't want to do that.
Barbara, what would you have to add to
if he can't figure out his map with both hands, if you know what I'm saying, then I would
Mm-hmm.
say you gotta really think on it, because if it was me, I would yank that house and just be
that?
like, peace, I gotta go. Because no, you don't want to be dealing with that guy in 6 months or 3 months or
Mhm.
next week or in 2 days. No,
Okay.
no. I
Okay.
would eat that. I would eat that trucking fee and move that house if it was me, because that's just, oh my god,
Yeah,
no.
I would agree. It would definitely be something, a decision that you have to make. Me, myself, I think I would run it by him one more time,
Mhm.
only from a standpoint of, hey, I got the moving transportation ready. I got the lot ready. I got everything I need. I need you to
Mm-hmm.
answer me now. Do you want this home here at your park making you lot rent or not? Basically, bottom line,
Yeah.
because everything is set either one way or the other, and I'm good with one or the other. But if you can't answer me thoroughly and we can come to an agreement, I got to make a decision. Plain
Mhm.
and simple. So,
Okay. I'll try it again. I've
mhm,
shot different offers at him. I even told him, hey, you got 5 empty houses here. Would you talk to the owner to just sell me one and watch how I fix it and flip it? I'll sign a 3-year lease agreement. He was like, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. So
Man.
I just let it go.
Well, and how would he know unless he actually asked them? That's problematic. He's not going to be there very long. If he can't ask the owners questions directly when there's somebody that's willing to throw money at something for them, and he's just going to straight shut it down, he's going to be probably not there in 6 months.
Okay. Thanks, you guys. I don't want to take up all the time. Thank
No,
you.
you're good. You're good. We got time for one more question. Anybody on here want to ask a question? Okay. Like I said, this will be recorded. It has been recorded, and we will be posting it on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc. We have a special LinkedIn. We have tons of mobile home park owners that come to our site. I get reached out by them every day. So, this is one reason why Miss Barbara here. Thank you again for your time. She was joining us. But Miss Barbara, I know you're currently actually looking for a position virtually or trying to assist. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, I'm out here, but I can help anywhere in the United States virtually because Zoom is our friend. And what my specialty is operations of property. So if there's anybody out there that has a park that's just kind of in the weeds and really doesn't know they're new, or they just inherited, like we were talking about, or they maybe just acquired one because they thought it would be cool to be like Warren Buffett, or they're looking for that new investment property thing and they're kind of stuck. I can help them with that, and it can be a shorter, long-term situation. It just, I'm here to answer questions, got reasonable fees, whatever you need.
Absolutely. No, you definitely provide a big service for us. Now, if anybody on here or on the social media sites that we will be posting on reaches out, how can they connect with you?
Good question. I was not prepared for that question.
And you
but
don't have
I
to be.
can,
If you want me to share and pass forward to you, totally fine.
yeah, forward it to me, and then that way I can connect with them, because I don't really have a website right now. So I'm, just give me
No
a holler.
problem. Absolutely. Not all of us give my phone number. I gave out my phone number many times. I will give out my phone number a few more times. I'm not. Can't take too many more calls. Definitely at this point, I got many students, so I have to tend to them. But awesome. Thank you, Ms. Barbara, for joining us today. This is huge. I think this will answer a lot of questions, and definitely any and everybody who reaches out to try to get a little more information from you directly, I will be happy to give them your phone number. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Jay Garcia here with Mobile Home Partners. If you want to reach me, you can call me directly, 770-855-1298. My email directly, the letter J, GARCIA at mobilehomepartner.com, all singular. You can reach me at. Great video here with Ms. Barbara. We were very thankful. Pleasure having you.
It was really fun. Thanks for having me.
Yes, ma'am. All right. And at this point, we will cut the recording, and everybody have a great night. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.